Have you ever stood in front of a loved one's grave, wondering if they can still feel your affection? Edgar Cayce reminded us that love is a vibration the soul picks up easily, even after passing. Many of us ask if those who have left us see us when we visit their graves. For some, the cemetery is a place of tears, conversations, and gratitude. For others, that iron gate feels as heavy as a wound still raw. The question arises, do you have to be there physically, or can the bond be kept alive anywhere? Let's talk about how, according to Cayce, the soul responds to these visits and what this connection really means, and at the end, we'll gather the lessons that come along the way. The air shifts in density right after that first question. It's not cold or warm, it's a kind of nostalgia that clings to the skin like a fine mist. The gravel beneath your feet cracks open hidden memories, the flowers blend the scent of life with the taste of farewell, and the heart races, trying to translate every sound into an answer. Who hasn't felt that chill when the wind seems to whisper your name? Some say it's just suggestion, but what if it's longing finding a way to touch you back? I promise that, in the next few minutes, the grave will stop being a stage for goodbyes and become a portal for veiled messages, and you'll realize that emotional bonds pay no mind to the distance between marble and the infinite. Right after that first question, the air changes its feel. It's not cold or hot, it's a kind of nostalgia that clings to your skin like a fine mist. The gravel crunches with hidden memories, flowers mix the scent of life with the taste of goodbye, and your heart races, trying to translate every sound into a reply. Who hasn't felt that chill when the wind seems to whisper your name softly? Some say it's just suggestion, but what if it's longing finding a way to reach back? I promise that after these next few minutes, the grave will stop being a stage for farewells and turn into a portal for secret messages, and you'll realize that emotional bonds ignore the distance between marble and infinity. The memory of a grandpa laughing loudly in the kitchen, shaking the pot lid, doesn't vanish with death. It lingers, waiting for the right moment to whisper something in your ear. When you arrange flowers or simply place your hand on that cold stone, it's like tuning into an old radio. Suddenly, the smell of coffee fills your nose, or an old piece of advice pops up as if it was given yesterday. Science might say it's just neurological firings, but the heart translates it as "I'm still here." If these little moments speak to your story, hitting subscribe almost feels like a handshake between two worlds recognizing each other in the dark. Grief wears a different cloak on everyone. Some need to relive memories every Sunday. Others prefer to lock away those drawers of memory so they don't bleed again. There's no universal script. At the grocery line, someone holds back invisible tears. In traffic, a honking driver might just be trying to hush their sobs. Understanding this diversity is the first step to respecting your own pain without judging someone else's. Notice who walks through the cemetery. There's the white-haired lady reading the news to her late husband as if flipping through a newspaper. There's the too quiet teenager, haunted by the emptiness that now fits between two heartbeats. Each gesture forms a mosaic of living stories, turning the cemetery's silence into a street full of deep emotions. Visiting graves can recharge some people and trigger storms for others. The bond with the departed isn't measured by the distance you travel to the gate but by the quality of your presence when the memory sparks. Sometimes, the truest conversation happens while washing dishes or smelling the rain soaking the earth. Love doesn't need coordinates to answer. When your chest burns with longing, a pure thought travels like a borderless letter, crossing calendars without a passport stamp. Still, rituals matter, they shape what words can't contain. Placing flowers, lighting candles, saying a prayer, all create a symbolic envelope protecting the message until it reaches its subtle destination. Maybe you think it's just fantasy to see signs and coincidences. But notice, you think about someone, and minutes later, an ad pops up with their name, or that song you shared starts playing. Coincidence? Maybe. But choosing to find meaning in the secret dance of everyday life turns pain into conversation and plants hope where there were only craters. When your heart skips a beat, don't shut it down, let yourself feel. Tears fall, clearing your view to reveal new shades, laughter escapes, reminding you that joy deserves an altar too. As you walk among the tombstones, pay attention to the little details. A stubborn butterfly lands on a stone, leaves form a heart on the damp ground, sunlight casts labyrinths on polished marble. Maybe that butterfly is just a butterfly, or maybe it brings a colorful message of peace. How you see it depends on the lens you choose. If your chest warms for no logical reason, take a deep breath and consider that, at that exact moment, a silent gesture crossed the veil. Imagination exercise? Yes. Faith, too. And a powerful antidote against the gray shadows haunting absence. But rituals shouldn't become chains. Visiting graves out of guilt is like writing a letter out of obligation. The words are empty, the energy doesn't flow. If your heart asks for retreat, listen. Many deep connections are born in the dark of a bedroom, when the house sleeps and only the clock watches. At that moment, the memory can arrive softly, like a warm hand on your shoulder. It's real presence inside absence, proof that love reinvents addresses whenever it needs to. If this idea brings comfort, a tap on the like button spreads warmth to those who still think feeling too much is crazy. So here's the simple invitation: next time the old gate creaks or a familiar scent fills the air, talk in silence. Say what's stuck in your throat, thank for what you never found time to say, laugh at what still tickles your memory. Every word released in this intimate dialogue becomes a seed planted over there, growing like peace. After all, goodbye is just a comma in a long sentence, and the story you wrote together keeps weaving new pages inside you, stitching present and eternity with invisible, unbreakable thread. For many people, placing flowers on a grave is like lighting a lantern on a moonless night. You make the gesture, take a deep breath, and feel a clearing open inside your chest. But what if, instead of fresh roses, you offered a poem written on your phone's notes while waiting for the bus? Would the soul that left reject it just because it's not in a vase? Old stories say no. In Japanese villages, it's believed the departed smile when the wind chimes hanging on the porch move and spread a crystal-clear sound through the house. Among Mexican families, the smell of pan de muerto baking in the kitchen instantly bridges to ancestors. No matter where longing shows up, if the intention's real, the message flies like an arrow cutting through curtains of time. Even so, cemeteries hold a special kind of magnetism. People go there because the place boldly reminds us that life is fragile, that time won't come back, and that love saved up needs to keep flowing or it'll stagnate. Some feel energy swirling the moment they touch the gate, their arm hairs raise and a heavy sigh escapes before the brain can argue anything. Others enter and, instead of feeling, experience strangeness, like visiting a museum of someone else's memories. It's common to leave feeling part of a wordless conversation, even if no one can sum it up in full sentences. If you've had encounters like that, where your heart seemed to listen more than your ears, sharing in the comments can comfort others going through the same and thinking they've lost their mind. It's surprising to notice many strong connections happen outside the sacred perimeter. A dad who lost his teenage son says he feels the boy's presence every day when he settles into the old porch hammock. The mom swears the fabric smells like baby shampoo, even after being washed with neutral soap. A widower swears he hears the dresser drawer opening alone at night, like his wife's looking for her favorite dress. Some invisible lock slides slowly, and the familiar creak rocks dreams that turn into warm hugs. Maybe you've also experienced something logic rejects but your body confirms, a brief spark of happiness, a chill making knees tremble. If this touched you, a quiet like works, besides spreading this conversation, you show feeling isn't weakness, it's a bond. To understand why these signs multiply in unlikely places, imagine feeling creates a high voltage line. The heavier the longing, the more likely the spark. Some parapsychology experts call these sparks psi phenomena, small breaks in known laws allowing info to leak between dimensions. Physics still searches for formulas to explain, but everyday life keeps collecting examples: clocks stopping right at death time, lights flickering when someone talks about the deceased, birds landing on the window on their birthday. None of these forces anyone to believe in life after death, but all conspire to remind us that the universe is, at least, way more creative than our certainties. There is, however, a subtle danger: obsessively hunting for signs. When pain turns into relentless chasing, every snap feels like an answer, every shadow looks like a ghost. It's easy to slip into living in the past, slowing your own healing. The secret is balance, recognizing a wave when it's clear, quietly saying thanks, and moving forward with the life still beating in you. If thinking about this calms you, take a deep breath right now, let your shoulders relax, and say inside, I receive the love, but I choose to keep walking. This small ritual stops longing from becoming a chain and keeps the door of affection open at the same time. Interestingly, many people say signs of presence grow stronger when doing something the deceased loved. Cooking their secret recipe, singing their favorite song in the shower, visiting the spot where they used to fish. Vibration-wise, it's like tuning an old dial to the exact station. Some African beliefs hold that sharing food or stories of the dead feeds their spirit with joy and keeps alive the flame warming both sides. Cardis's Spiritism, on the other hand, teaches that bright, loving memories help the soul's evolution, while memories full of guilt bind those left behind and those who departed in a tight knot. Which theory do you like best? Maybe it doesn't matter, the common ground is that authentic emotion moves unseen mountains. It's worth mentioning that sometimes the signal we receive might bring discomfort before offering comfort. A strong perfume in a dark room can scare you at first, a whispered voice during sleep can make your heart race like a drum. It's normal to feel scared when the unexplained shows up uninvited. If sooner or later you experience something like this, remember 3 simple steps: breathe, be thankful, ask for protection. Breathing brings you back to center, gratitude gives meaning to the experience, and asking for protection sets healthy boundaries. Many traditions suggest lighting a white candle or saying a short prayer to harmonize the space. There's no absolute formula, but ancient wisdom reminds us that respect is always a bridge, never a wall. Speaking of respect, grieving others deserves silence when needed and company when asked for. Not everyone wants advice about emotional stages, and even less so comparisons like "it's been years, you should be over it by now." Pain has its own calendar, invisible to those looking from the outside. Sometimes the most powerful thing to say is just, "I'm here if you need me." That light gesture, soft as a petal, has more impact than whole speeches. Don't underestimate the power of silent presence, it works subtle healing, preventing a person from drowning in their own flood of longing. As the days go by, life piles up with commitments, bills, meetings, shopping lists. But every now and then, a snap breaks through the autopilot. It could be the laughter of a child reminding you of a sibling who's gone, it could be the rain falling with the same rhythm as that afternoon you danced on the porch. When this happens, don't hit the ignore button. Pause for a few seconds, acknowledge the sudden visit like it's a notification from the universe, smile with your eyes, then keep going. Little pauses boost the energy crossing the 2 banks of this invisible river. Soon you'll realize death, far from being a full stop, works like a revolving door to new stages of learning. But before you get there, let this thought resonate: maybe longing isn't the villain or a thorn. Maybe it's the phone ringing on the other end, waiting for you to pick up and say, "I hear you, I feel you, I care." If you carry that key with you, any place, a park bench, a messy kitchen, or a flower-covered grave, can become a meeting room where love keeps updating its form without ever running out of content. When the body gives up its last strength, many imagine a click, the light goes out, absolute silence, nothing left to say. But near-death reports, ancient traditions, and mediums scattered across the world tell a much broader, more colorful story. They describe a gentle corridor of amber light, flickering lanterns lit by gestures we left as heritage, the laugh that spread hope, the act of forgiveness that ended fights, the shoulder offered without asking for anything in return. In that corridor, every generous memory turns into a beacon pointing the soul's path, like glowing signs on a road at night. That's why, when someone leaves, they don't just take their own luggage, they also carry the affection they planted in the hearts of those who stayed. And we, who keep going here, hold up that illuminated tunnel every time we think of the departed with tenderness instead of bitterness. Various spiritual traditions talk about a deep life review right after crossing over. There's no judge with a robe, no stern courtroom. The spirit watches its own choices like a first-person movie. It feels the warmth of kind words, the chill of painful silences, the relief of forgiveness given. It's less punishment and more like an intense classroom. The more love on the balance sheet, the smoother the landing in the new realm. That's where simple acts gain golden weight. When you comfort someone grieving, for instance, you create extra shine in that invisible inventory. And if you regret a fight with someone who passed, know that sincere apologies cross dimensions as naturally as light passes through a glass window. Just remember them with affection, say your forgiveness quietly, and trust the message reaches the other side without interference. Many people feel these answers in dreams. That's when the chains of wakefulness loosen and subtle messages slip through. Some kids meet their parents again in everyday scenes, the breakfast table, the backyard with clothes on the line, and wake up with a light heart, as if they talked for hours. One lady said she saw her husband hand her a blue flower that doesn't exist on Earth. She woke up wiping sweet tears, sure he was still blooming in gardens memory hasn't met yet. For some, these dreams feel so vivid it's hard to call them just imagination. Even skeptics admit the peace felt is unlike any legal or illegal drug. It comes from somewhere else, like a breeze passing through a concrete wall. Interestingly, according to many consciousness researchers, the quality of this dream bridge depends more on the dreamer's vibration than the distance between dimensions. When you go to bed replaying guilt, you create noise on the frequency. It's like trying to make a phone call during a storm. But when you fall asleep after a day spreading kindness, holding the elevator door, praising someone's effort, taking care of yourself patiently, the line's clear, ready to receive messages. It's not a recipe, but true tuning. Heavy emotions create fog, bright emotions create clear skies. These exchanges aren't just for comfort. They inspire real changes in the here and now. How many times have you remembered someone who passed and suddenly decided to finally schedule that checkup, apologize to a friend, or pick up a forgotten hobby? It's almost like that affectionate voice whispers in your ear, "Go on, turn that longing into action." Many social projects started as posthumous tributes, libraries built in honor of a beloved teacher, donation campaigns created after someone who valued solidarity passed away. To the world, they look like human works, but in the intimacy of those who carry them out, they're secret dialogues extending chapters of love beyond the tombstone. Sometimes, though, pain throbs relentlessly and the presence that once felt constant disappears. It's common to interpret that emptiness as abandonment, but some philosophies suggest another explanation. The soul moves on to tougher lessons and needs to step back so both, the living and the departed, can grow freely. That doesn't mean cutting the bond, just a break between seasons. Meanwhile, you keep nourishing the connection through choices that honor shared values. Think of a chord played on a piano. Even when the sound fades, the vibration lingers in the air for fractions of a second unnoticed by a regular ear. Similarly, the bond keeps vibrating on subtle levels even when the feeling of presence fades. Some find this idea of freedom to grow cruel, but just look at nature to see that cycles of absence and return keep balance. The tide pulls water back only to bring it again in waves full of shells. The tree drops dry leaves to grow new shoots the next season. The relationship with someone who left breathes that in and out. Insisting on holding the soul to the physical plane would be like asking the sea to never retreat or the tree to never renew. Allowing flow is a sign of mature love, the kind that trusts future reunions without setting a clock or making an appointment. So when your heart feels tight, try a small ritual. Close your eyes, place your hand on your chest, and picture a trail of golden light leading you toward an undefined horizon. Imagine leaving there a bouquet made of all the things you still want to say. Thank you, I'm sorry, I'm doing okay, I remembered your joke today. Then see that horizon pulse softly, signaling it received every word. Take a deep breath, open your eyes, and return to your day. You don't have to believe in anything beyond what your body feels at the end. If you get up feeling lighter, the mission's done. If you notice peace spreading slowly, invite it to stay. And here we reach the core of all this talk. the best way to honor those we love is to live with more presence, more kindness, more courage. Turn a minute of longing into 5 minutes of patience in traffic. Change a tear into willingness to listen to someone who's hurting. Let remembered laughter unfold into an invitation to laugh with those still here. If anything sparked a light bulb in your mind while listening to these words, write it down in the comments. Your sharing might become a beacon for others navigating the same waters. And if you feel this exchange should keep going, the subscribe button is right there, quiet like a doorbell waiting for a gentle push. Use it whenever you want to widen this network of presence crossing borders. In the end, goodbye has never meant the end of affection. It's just a curve in the road, invisible from the lane we're driving in now. When the wind messes up your notes or the smell of freshly baked cake fills the house for no clear reason, allow yourself to smile. It could be just chance, it could be pure brain chemistry, or it could be a memory-turned breeze, whispering, "We're still walking together, we just changed the scenery." If those whispers find fertile ground in you, love will keep building bridges between worlds, just like dawn stitches night and day without tearing the sky. So keep breathing, welcome the next sunrise as a sign of new beginnings, and carry this calm certainty with you. Everything genuine never gets lost, it just changes form to keep lighting the path for those who keep loving.